The backyard was a bit of a disaster after the shed was finished. We needed to extend the driveway to the shed and to get rid of all this green waste that seemed to be attracting unwanted wildlife to the house. This stack of timber I had leaning on the wall had to go too. I kept a shovel nearby in case I encountered another venomous spawn of Satan. We also had this old chain link fence along one side of the block that served no purpose since the neighbours built a new building and fence a few years ago. So I snipped off the wire that held the chain link on and rolled it up. I'll take it to the scrap metal recyclers when this all blows over. Then I unbolted the top rail and dropped it down. I'll let the Bobcat man take the posts out with his machine. Russell made short work of removing the pile of green waste and rubble from the yard. We got him to take out some of the hedge that wasn't doing so well, so Jade could eventually plant a little veggie patch there. And he took out the old fence posts for us. But the main reason we had him around was to create a ramp for the concrete driveway. We had a few chunks of concrete that were buried in the yard and some more that was cut out of the existing driveway out the front of the house. We decided that instead of wasting resources by taking them away and bringing in new fill, we could dig down a little and bury it all under the new driveway. My old mate, the butcher bird, was back to check things out again. We were so impressed by Faro concreting when we had the shed slab poured. When it came time to do the driveway, I had to get Andrew back. I was glad I did because he had it done within 2 weeks of the call and for a good price. It's tough to find good, reliable tradespeople, so when I do, I'm happy to give them a recommendation. Emmett loves their work too.
Yeah.
On the day of the concrete pour, the guys were here bright and early. They took out all their equipment, getting it ready for the arrival of the concrete truck. It was a fine day for it, and my little man loved watching the trucks come and go. Once the first concrete truck eventually found the place, the guys had it levelled out just in time for the second. They had the whole driveway poured before mid-morning. It's impressive how quickly the backyard changed after being such a mess for so long. There was still a fair bit of work to do yet though. The last part of the concrete job was to run the helicopter over it to smooth it off. We had a truckload of topsoil delivered with the intention of levelling the yard for some new grass. The Bobcat man didn't feel like doing that for us, so I ended up hiring a mini excavator and doing it myself. I'm not sure it was cheaper than getting someone else in to do it, but it sure was fun driving that little rig around. I spent some time sloping the yard down towards the side of the house for drainage and to get rid of any rocks and chunks of concrete that were buried there. We also needed a trench dug out to run some conduit for the electricity to the shed, which is why I opted to get the mini excavator. The machine worked well for the most part, but I found it hard to get the two sides of the trench to line up. It didn't seem to have the power to dig down where I needed it to, but that could have come down to operator error. but I was able to get it close enough and clean it up with the shovel. The part of the trench close to the house and shed needed to be finished by hand as well. I had to smash out some of the concrete with a sledgehammer, which was quite therapeutic. Once the trench was ready, I cut and glued the conduit together and dropped it in. I had to switch back to the big bucket on the excavator, so I built a little bridge and got over it, then switched them over. Then it was a simple matter of filling in the trench, levelling the yard as best I could, and spreading out the layer of topsoil. I moved the bulk of it with the machine and then went back over it with the rake to smooth it out. Jade and Emmett came out to give me a hand, and between us we got the job done pretty quickly. We laid this pipe down that went under the driveway for a sprinkler system for the hedge and veggie patch. Also, someone found the secret time-lapse camera. Scallywag. We had the turf delivered on a Friday with afternoon storms forecast. In a haste to get the grass down before the rains came, I forgot to start the cameras, but luckily I didn't miss too much. There was this rogue piece of steel I had to cut out with a grinder, but it was a minor setback. The plan was basically to run a line of grass around the outside, then fill in the rest in a brick pattern, using only full pieces of turf before doing any cutting to fill in the gaps. We ended up having plenty of grass, so we filled in the missing pieces and I threw some about in the front yard to use it up while Jade and Emmett started watering. But they didn't get too much done before the rains set in, timing it pretty well. We'll most likely end up pulling some of it up once we work out where we want to have gardens and trees, but for now we'll just let it get established, watering in the morning and late afternoon and mowing it every week forever. We love the way our backyard looks now, and we hope you enjoyed the video. We're open to suggestions about what we can do with this big block wall out here. Jade's thinking some kind of giant purple spider painting, but I'm not so sure about that. Let us know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching to the end, I really appreciate it. If you liked the cut of my jib and reckon I deserve a beer for my troubles, check out my PayPal link in the description to make a one-off donation. Also, if you're in the market for some reasonably priced gear for photography and videography, click my affiliate link with Newer and check out their wares. Here's cheers.